Ladies and gentlemen, let me take you back to a cold, rainy night. I was sitting on a park bench, my stomach growling, my clothes soaked, and my heart heavy with doubt. I had nothing, no home, no money, and no idea how I was going to make it to the next day. All I had were two things: a dream so big it scared me, and a determination that refused to die. Now I know what some of you are thinking. How does someone go from that to standing here talking about success? Well, I'll tell you this. Success doesn't start with money, connections, or luck. It starts with a decision to believe in yourself when no one else will. And today, I'm going to share with you the story of how I turned my lowest moment into the foundation of a life I never thought possible. But this isn't just about me. This is about you. Because if I can do it, so can you. And by the end of this speech, you'll see exactly how. Imagine this. It's the middle of the night. The air is biting cold, and the streets are eerily quiet. You're sitting on a weathered park bench, clutching a thin jacket that does nothing to keep the chill away. Your stomach growls, but there's no food to quiet it. Every sound in the distance feels like a threat, and every moment is a reminder of how far you've fallen. That was my reality. I had no home, no money, and no one to call for help. I wasn't just broke, I was broken. I felt like the world had chewed me up and spit me out. But even in that darkness, there was this tiny flicker of hope. It wasn't loud or obvious. It was quiet, like a whisper in the back of my mind. That whisper said, "This isn't the end. You're meant for more." I didn't know how I was going to change my life, but I knew one thing: I couldn't stay where I was. That park bench wasn't my destiny, so I made a decision. I decided that no matter how hard it got, I wouldn't give up on myself. Now I want you to think about something for a moment. Have you ever been in a place where it felt like the odds were stacked against you? Maybe you weren't homeless, but you felt stuck, lost, or overwhelmed. Maybe you've questioned whether you have what it takes to succeed. If you've ever felt that way, I want you to know you're not alone. That night on the bench, I didn't have a plan, a safety net, or a clue about what to do next. All I had was a dream, a vision of a better life, and a determination to chase it, no matter how impossible it seemed. But here's the thing, that's all you need to start. You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need to have every resource or connection. What you need is the courage to take the first step, even when you're scared. I'll be honest with you, it wasn't easy. There were days when I wanted to give up, when I questioned if I was crazy for believing I could turn my life around. But every time doubt crept in, I reminded myself of that cold night on the bench and the promise I made to myself: I will not stay here. That promise became my fuel. It pushed me to take risks, to learn, to grow, and to keep going, even when the road ahead seemed impossible. And today, I stand here as proof that no matter how far you've fallen, you can rise again. This story isn't just about me, it's about you and what's possible for your life. If you're willing to hold on to that flicker of hope and take the first step, you can create a life you never thought possible. And I'm here to show you how. Success is one of those words that gets thrown around a lot, and everyone seems to have their own definition. For some, it's a big house, a fancy car, or a hefty bank account. For others, it's fame, recognition, or reaching the top of their field. But let me tell you something I learned the hard way. Success is so much more than that. When I was at my lowest, with nothing to my name but a dream and a determination to survive, I started to rethink what success really meant. Back then, success wasn't about money or status. It was about making it through the day. It was about finding the strength to wake up each morning and keep going, even when everything in me wanted to give up. That's when I realized something powerful. Success isn't about what you have, it's about who you are. It's about the person you become in the process of chasing your dreams. It's about the resilience you build, the lessons you learn, and the lives you touch along the way. Don't get me wrong. Money and achievements are great, but they're just byproducts of something deeper. True success comes from finding your purpose, living in alignment with your values, and using your gifts to make a difference in the world. It's about waking up every day with a sense of fulfillment, knowing that what you're doing matters, not just to you, but to others. I've met people with all the material wealth in the world, and yet they're miserable because they're not living with purpose. On the other hand, I've met people who have very little by society's standards, but are some of the happiest and most fulfilled individuals you'll ever meet. Why? Because they understand that success is about more than possessions. It's about passion, impact, and living a life that feels true to who you are. When I was struggling, I clung to the belief that my life could mean something, that my experiences, no matter how painful, could one day inspire someone else. That belief became my compass. It guided me through the tough times. It reminded me that my journey wasn't just about me. It was about showing others what's possible when you refuse to give up. Here's the truth. Success is deeply personal. What it looks like for me might not be what it looks like for you, and that's okay. The important thing is to define it for yourself. What kind of life do you want to create? What impact do you want to have? What legacy do you want to leave behind? When you focus on these questions, you'll realize that success isn't a destination, it's a journey. And the beauty of it is that every step you take, no matter how small, brings you closer to the person you're meant to be. That's what true success is all about. When everything around you feels like it's falling apart, it's easy to lose sight of what's possible. The weight of your circumstances can feel overwhelming, and the idea of a brighter future seems like a distant dream. But here's what I've learned. The most powerful tool you have in those moments isn't money, connections, or even talent. It's vision and faith. Vision is the ability to see beyond where you are right now. It's the ability to imagine a future so vivid and compelling that it pulls you forward, even when your current reality feels like a nightmare. When I was at my lowest, sleeping in my car and wondering if life would ever get better, it was my vision of a better life that kept me going. I could see it in my mind. The life I wanted to live, the person I wanted to become, and the impact I wanted to make. But having a vision isn't enough. You also need faith, the belief that no matter how difficult the journey, that vision is worth fighting for. Faith is what keeps you moving forward when the odds are stacked against you. It's what gives you the strength to take the next step, even when you can't see the whole path. The thing about vision and faith is that they work hand in hand. Vision gives you direction, while faith gives you the courage to follow it. Together they create a powerful force that can carry you through even the toughest challenges. But here's the catch. No one else can give you vision or faith. You have to cultivate them for yourself. When I talk about vision, I'm not just talking about daydreaming or wishful thinking. I'm talking about creating a clear, detailed picture of the life you want to live. What does it look like? What does it feel like? Who are you surrounded by? The more vivid your vision, the more real it becomes, and the more motivated you'll be to make it a reality. Faith, on the other hand, is about trust. Trusting yourself, trusting the process, and trusting that the hard work you're putting in will pay off. Faith doesn't mean ignoring reality or pretending everything is perfect. It means acknowledging the challenges, but choosing to believe that they're temporary and that you have the power to overcome them. There were so many moments when I felt like giving up. I didn't know how I was going to make it, but I held on to my vision and leaned on my faith. I reminded myself that my current circumstances didn't define my future. And every time I took a step forward, no matter how small, I could feel myself getting closer to the life I had envisioned. Vision and faith aren't just concepts, they're tools. They're the foundation of every success story, including yours. If you can see it in your mind and believe it in your heart, you can achieve it. The journey won't be easy, but I promise you it will be worth it. The journey from struggle to success is rarely a straight line. It's a winding path filled with detours, obstacles, and moments that test your resolve. But within those moments lie the greatest lessons, the kind that shape you into the person you're meant to become. Looking back on my own journey, I can tell you that every challenge I faced taught me something invaluable, and it's those lessons that became the foundation of my success. One of the first lessons I learned was perseverance. When you're at rock bottom, it's easy to feel like giving up is the only option. But the truth is, the only way out is through. Perseverance isn't about never failing. It's about getting back up every time you do. I failed more times than I can count, but each failure taught me something new. It taught me how to adapt, how to think creatively, and how to keep going, even when the odds were against me. Another lesson was humility. When you're struggling, you realize how much you depend on others, whether it's a kind stranger, a friend who believes in you, or even the lessons you can learn from people who've walked a similar path. Humility taught me to listen, to learn, and to accept help when I needed it. It reminded me that no one succeeds alone, and that gratitude for even the smallest blessings can change your perspective. Resourcefulness was another skill I developed along the way. When you don't have much, you learn to make the most of what you do have. You find creative solutions, discover hidden strengths, and realize that limitations are often opportunities in disguise. I didn't have money, but I had time, determination, and a willingness to work hard. I learned to use those resources to create opportunities where none seemed to exist. One of the hardest but most valuable lessons I learned was to embrace failure. Society often teaches us to fear failure, but the truth is, failure is one of life's greatest teachers. Every time I failed, I learned what didn't work, and that brought me one step closer to finding what did. Failure isn't the opposite of success. It's a crucial part of the process. Finally, I learned the importance of staying true to myself. It's easy to lose sight of who you are when you're chasing success, but the most fulfilling achievements come from living authentically. I realized that my story, every struggle, every setback, wasn't something to hide or be ashamed of. It was my strength, my unique perspective, and the reason I could connect with and inspire others. The lessons you learn on the way to success are often more valuable than the success itself. They shape your character, build your resilience, and prepare you for the challenges ahead. So when you face obstacles, remember this: every setback is a setup for a comeback, and every challenge is an opportunity to grow. The journey may be tough, but the person you become along the way will make it all worthwhile. When you hear stories of people who have achieved incredible success, it's easy to think, that's great for them, but I could never do that. Maybe you feel like you don't have the right resources, the right connections, or the right circumstances. But let me tell you something. Success isn't reserved for a select few. It's not about where you start. It's about how you choose to move forward. And the truth is, if I could rise from nothing, so can you. The first step is understanding that success doesn't require perfection or privilege. It requires action. Too often, we hold ourselves back because we're waiting for the perfect moment or the perfect plan. But let me tell you, there's no such thing as the perfect time. The perfect time is the moment you decide to start. When I was at my lowest, I didn't have a roadmap or a safety net. All I had was a vision of a better life and the determination to take the first step, no matter how small. And that's the key. Success isn't about taking giant leaps. It's about taking consistent steps. It's about showing up for yourself every single day, even when it feels like progress is slow. One of the biggest misconceptions about success is that it's a straight line. People see the highlight reels, the awards, the achievements, the moments of glory, but they don't see the struggle, the sacrifices, and the sleepless nights that came before. They don't see the countless times you fail, question yourself, or wonder if you're on the right path. But those moments are where success is built. The beauty of the journey is that every step, no matter how small, brings you closer to your goal. You don't have to have all the answers right now. You don't have to know exactly how you're going to get there. What matters is that you start and that you keep going even when the road gets tough. Here's the thing. Your journey is uniquely yours. You don't have to compare yourself to anyone else. You don't have to measure your progress against someone else's timeline. Success isn't a competition. It's a personal journey. It's about becoming the best version of yourself and creating a life that feels meaningful to you. You have everything you need to succeed already within you. You have the strength, the resilience, and the ability to learn and grow. You have the power to take control of your life and create the future you want. It won't always be easy, and there will be times when you feel like giving up. But in those moments, I want you to remember this. You are capable of more than you know. If I can rise from the lowest point of my life to achieve my dreams, so can you. Your circumstances don't define you, your choices do. So take that first step, no matter how small. Keep moving forward and trust that every step you take is bringing you closer to the life you deserve. As we approach the end of this journey together, there's one thing I want to leave with you: the power of action. No matter how inspired you feel in this moment, no matter how much you believe in the possibility of change, nothing will happen unless you take action. Dreams without action are just wishes, and wishes don't change lives. Action does. I know what it's like to feel paralyzed by fear or uncertainty. When you're standing at the edge of change, it can feel overwhelming. You wonder if you're ready, if you're good enough, or if you'll fail. But here's the truth: you don't have to have it all figured out to start. You just have to take the first step. Action isn't about waiting for the perfect plan or the perfect moment. It's about moving forward with what you have, right where you are. It's about doing the best you can with what you know and trusting that the rest will come as you go. When I started my journey, I didn't have all the answers. I didn't know how I was going to achieve my dreams. I just knew I couldn't stay where I was. Taking action doesn't mean you won't face challenges. In fact, you will. You'll stumble, you'll face setbacks, and there will be times when you question if it's all worth it. But every step you take, no matter how small, is a step closer to your goal. And with each step, you'll gain confidence, clarity, and strength. Here's what I want you to remember: the power to change your life is already within you. You don't need anyone's permission to pursue your dreams. You don't need to wait for the right time or the right circumstances. The only thing standing between you and the life you want is the decision to take action. And let me tell you something else. Your journey isn't just about you. When you choose to take action, you inspire others to do the same. Your courage becomes a beacon of hope for those who are watching, and your success becomes proof that it's possible. You have the power to create a ripple effect that reaches far beyond what you can imagine. So I want to challenge you. Don't let this moment pass you by. Don't let the fire you feel right now fade into the background of your everyday life. Take this energy, take this belief, and do something with it, whether it's making a phone call, setting a goal, or taking the first step toward your dream. Do it. Because here's the thing: if you don't take action, nothing changes. But if you do, everything can. The life you want, the success you dream of, the impact you meant to make, it's all waiting for you on the other side of action. So take that step. Start now and watch how your life transforms.